Hello everyone, welcome back to Magic Collide. Now today I'm going to be doing my first modern video. Doing Melira combo, podless pod, Abzan combo, whatever you want to call it. The Kitchen Finks, Murderous Redcap, Melira, and Zafenza combo, that's what I'm doing. Doing this because I got some new toys to play with, and honestly, I've been playing this deck since Modern started, and I want to get back to the roots and testing it. We got a lot of new tutors, got a lot of new pieces to work with, so I'm going to go for it and get started. It's about time I do. So now, before I get started with the deck list and going over the stuff, it won't be too complicated. I would like to talk to you about proxy decks and tech deck proxy decks, pretty much. This is my Affinity proxy deck. So this is got like 4 Inkmoth Nexus. As you can tell, I just made art for the card on a piece of paper, printed it off 4 times, and then cut them out and put them in here. So I have 4 Inkmoth Nexus. I even colored some, look at that. For Master of Ethereum, Arcbound, Ravager, Thoughtseize, Blood Moon, those are in the sideboard. They're supposed to be, yeah, it's full sideboard, full deck. It is to test against. I have my own Affinity deck, so I can play my own Affinity deck against this, which is really dumb. I don't do that, but I could. So the option is always there. I like that. So this deck actually started off because the deck that I had when Modern started was I started playing in the day that Magic 2010, the core set, came out, is the day I started playing. I went to a vintage stock and, I hope I can say that. Fuck it. I went into a vintage stock and bought 2 of their intro decks and got started, and that was a wrap on that. But the deck that, I had a lot of pieces. Shards of Valera was still out, so I had Master of Ethereums, I had, what was a bunch of the other stuff? I had a lot of pieces for the deck. I had, whenever Scars of Mirrodin came out after that, we got a lot more, but we got, where's the guy who taps? Put a +1 counter on everybody. So, like, I have Vault Scourges, as you can see. It looks like whenever I was playing this, I had sideboarded stuff in, so, Springleaf Drum. The Steel Overseer, he was a big one that I had, so I was like, hey, I already got 4 of these guys, so awesome, I can play this deck. I had Edge Champions, because I was playing during Scars, so, and just, deck kind of came together. Didn't have to get much for it. It was cheap to put together. But the other big deck at the time was Pod. Pod was huge. It was a monster. It still is. I've played it almost the entire time that Modern has been made. This is the deck I've been playing. And it is because I had my Affinity deck and I wanted to play against Court of Calling. Court of Calling was $30 at the time. They hadn't reprinted it. It was a really expensive card. So to get started playing this deck was $120 just for that. Not including the Kitchen Finks I didn't have. See, this is actually a proxy from that deck probably, 5 or 6 years ago when I started playing. A Kitchen Finks, a very, very terrible proxied one. But, you can see what I did back then. I actually took real cards so I could see their converted mana cost. And I'm still using one because I'm short of Kitchen Finks right now from the last time I sold this deck. The last time I sold this deck, and I got a bunch of fancy stuff. I got some foils. I thought I had another Murderous Redcap that was like this, but I couldn't find him when I was putting all this together. So the other thing that happened is Court of Calling came out, got that, but I proxied this deck together to play against my Affinity deck. And it just blew my mind. I loved it. And just from playing the proxy version, I learned how to play the deck very, very well. So things came together, got the deck, already had the Meliras, I already had the Pod. Oh gosh, but Pod. That Pod was a bad time for this deck. Many people like Pod. Fuck Pod. I hate the Birthing Pod. I hope they never unban it. Fuck that card. And what it did to this deck was it made a curve. You had to make a curve around it. And it was fucking horrible. So as soon as they banned it, I was such a happy boy. I went straight to just the all combo, just straight comboed out, right? Everything. And I'll show you where I went to and where I am currently, but now this is not a deck that I would bring to a tournament. It's missing a lot of stuff. First off, everybody's going to be like, oh, what about Safi Eriksdottir? What about that in the Renegade Rallier? I see you have that in there. Well, that eats up so many more deck slots because I have to add the Zulaport Cutthroat, the Blood Artist. It just cuts into everything. I don't want to try it right now. I might try it sometime. I do like Safi Eriksdottir and what she does and the interaction, but I'm not going to try that right now. I'm just going to go for the basics. I had tried, before Eldritch Evolution came out, I was playing Traverse the Uvenwald in this deck. I mean, I actually played Traverse the Uvenwald in this deck at a tournament. A tournament that it was just a local tournament. It was 4 rounds, and I think I went 3-0 or 4-0, but I took Traverse the Uvenwald, all 4 of them in here. All 4 Traverse the Uvenwald, all 4 Court of Calling. And I never once was able to cast Traverse the Uvenwald other than grab a basic land. So, when Eldritch Evolution came out, I completely ditched Traverse the Uvenwald. And whenever I play this deck, so whenever I play this deck, if I played it like this, it would be awful. There's no protection in the deck. I would just get run over. One of my favorite things in Magic is black discard. So, of course, I'm going to play discard in this deck. But I always, always, always have 4 Tide Hollow Scullers for this deck. This guy is freaking awesome. I absolutely love him. And he is a very, very vital role player in this. And he always has been, and that's why I thought Traverse the Uvenwald would work really well, because I thought I'd be able to turn him on. I ran some Planeswalkers too, and it just didn't never work out. So, the other thing I would like to talk about, the other cards that are in here that are not right now, that are just like staples, is I always play 2 Abrupt Decay, the Silly Pride Mage, and Anafenza the Foremost. And actually, whenever I go through this, I'm trying to see if I can find some better options so I don't have to include the Quisili Pride Mage. As good as he is, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Now, the other big thing in this deck, and where I will probably be going back to, is I always played 4 Glittering Wish. I realized that with Glittering Wish, if you add in 4 Glittering Wish, and I was running 4 Kitchen Finks and 4 Murderous Redcaps, you could take out the Murderous Redcap, a Cartel Aristocrat, and one of your Kitchen Finks, and just add in 4 Glittering Wish in their place, or an extra one, and then you could grab combo pieces from the sideboard. You could grab Murderous Redcap, your sacrifice part, or you could grab you can't grab, none of these are multicolored, but other cards fill that role, like the Juniper Order Ranger works exactly the same way all these do. It's just exactly the same as this category of the deck. There's just 3 categories. You sacrifice your Persist Mechanics, your -1 counter stopper, and then your Persist Mechanic cards. So there was a lot of other things to grab too that I liked. I used working around with Shattering Blow and the Orzhov Charm, because Orzhov Charm can return the Viscera, the Birds of Paradise, but you can kill anything with it, and after you've gained an infinite life, it really doesn't matter what you kill with it. So it was really just a kill spell to grab. There's better options now, so I'm going to be going over that probably, but by the time I finish this series, this is going to be a multiple part video. This first one is going to be Goldfishing this deck just as it is, so I can check out the pieces and see how I like it, and then by the end I'll have added in all of my disruption, and like my Tide Hollow Scullers will be in there. I'll have the sideboard and everything, and how I currently play it. So I'm really excited about this, and let's get started Goldfishing. Now, I'm going to be showing you the turns here, but at the beginning of turn 6, if I don't win, I lose. Because at the end of turn 5, what would it be? So at the beginning of turn 6, I lose. So if I haven't won by turn 6, I automatically lose. So that is what this is to represent, and then I have the turn counter here. So let's get started. Swamp, Windswept Heath, Cartel Aristocrat, another Windswept Heath, Eldritch, 2, 3, oh gosh, okay. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to do I guess I should do my own life counter too. I'm going to be a little more reckless, because on some matches you can be really reckless with your life total, and then some matches you can definitely not, like on Burned and such not, or on such nonsense, but because of the way it is, let's see here, I'm going to get, what do I can get anything I want, so I guess I will get an overgrown, no, I'm going to do Temple Garden. Temple Garden, did I miss you? Temple Garden, okay. Oops. Okay, so, did my Temple Garden, untapped, I go to 17 life, Birds of Paradise. Turn 2. A forest, okay. I can work with that. I think I'm going to do, let's see here. I could do a kitchen finks. If I tap 2 and the birds, I can Eldritch Evolution the Birds of Paradise for the kitchen finks. But I don't have the Viserys here, so I can't scry infinitely while I'm getting my life to find the Murderous Redcap. So I'm going to go ahead and wait on that. And I'm just going to, let's see, I guess I'm going to fetch there. I mean, there's no point not to if I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to play out the Visor Remedies and then fetch for do an Overgrown Tomb or a Godless Shrine. So Godless Shrine, and because I did my first one untapped, just because I'm goldfishing, I don't know what I'd be facing. I'm just going to have it come into play tapped, like I said. So I lose 1 life from the Windswept Heath, and it comes into play tapped, blah, blah, blah. Turn 3. Oh, another Visor Remedies. Okay, so now do a forest. Let's see here. I need to get a Murderous Redcap out. And what would I do? I'll him on Eldritch Evolution. So I'm gonna do. So I guess that I can't save any mana or anything. So do 3 for Eldritch Evolution on the Visor of Remedies, and then get a Murderous Redcap. Murderous Redcap, he enters the battlefield, does 2 damage. Okay. And then I go on to nothing else to do, so turn 4. So turn 4, draw my card, a swamp. I do a swamp, a Cartel Aristocrat, and a Visor Remedies, and then sacrifice Murderous Redcap to take them to 0. Do 1,000,000 damage, so minus 1,000,000. Alright, so turn 4. Let's go on to the next game. Okay, let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and I am running really shy at 19 lands, but I'm running 4 of the Birds of Paradise and 2 of the Wall of Roots, I think it is. So I'm not too worried about that. So I think I'm going to go turn 1. I could get out the Viserys here. Let's see. No, well, okay. Do a swamp and Viserys here. So turn 1, turn 2. Windswept Heath. Okay, that helps. Let's do a Temple Garden and Melira. And then turn 3, untap. Play my Windswept Heath. and crack it for a swamp or overgrown tomb. That'll work. Now my Murmuring Bosk always comes into play tapped, so I can't play it, and I don't have any ramp to do the Murderous Redcap next turn. So I have to get another land. So this is how you do it. Oh wait, no, I couldn't have grabbed an Overgrown Tomb with the Windswept Heath because I could not cast the Kitchen. Yeah, I can't. What am I thinking? Okay, green, white, black, Kitchen Finks, and sacrifice, gain infinite life. So life no total. Lost one, but it doesn't matter now. And so what I do is I'm gonna look for land. We'll look for a swamp. And, oh wait, no, I have to. Yeah, I have to scry. What am I doing? Okay, so scry. No. How do you do that? No. No. Is that how? Ah. Okay, so no. That is right. So if I put him at the bottom at the end, everything will go on top of him. So bam, bam, forest. That'll work. Okay, so put. We'll cycle back through my deck. It'll be exactly the same, and most opponents will agree with that. If they don't, you can just walk through the motions and do it exactly the same, or do it till you get a swamp. But you want to gain infinite life with the Kitchen Fink, so you just say I do that like a billion times, and then get to the forest and get to this one. So those will go on the bottom. My forest will be on top, and then I will go on to turn 4. And on turn 4, I will untap. Draw my card, forest, play it, Murderous Redcap, infinite damage. And so that's it. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, that's a weird one, but we got it. So when you got it, you got it. I'm gonna go Swamp, Viserys here. Turn 2, do a Windswept Heath. Nah, Pluto Delta. Get an Overgrown Tomb. Where are you, Tomb? Tomb. Where are you? It's the next card I was gonna draw. Huh. Imagine my luck. Okay. Go down 17 from that. Go 2 for Melira. Okay. Turn 3. Visor Remedies. Sack my Windswept Heath. And I'm gonna grab a Temple Garden. Where are you, Temple Garden? Are you at the front again? No? Oh, gosh, okay. Start doing that mess there. Going down 3 more, going down to 14. Okay. And then I'm going to do 3 for a Kitchen Finks. And I'm going to sack the Kitchen Finks infinitely to gain a shit ton of life. And I'm going to go for just a land. Let's see here. We're going to scry for a land. So Wooded Foothills, but we're looking for a land and then another Melira. There it is. Perfect. So we have, if we scry this way, we are going to, how would that work? So I'm going to stack the deck. Would have been, this is what I started flipping, so this would have went back on the bottom. So it would have went Forest on the bottom, and then left Melira. Wait, is that right? No, it left a Forest, and then a Melira. Okay. Wait, why did I do that? I have a Visor Remedies. I would have done the same thing, but with the Cartel Aristocrat. So if your opponent has never played against this deck, and they don't understand it, then you just go through the motions, and you scry until you find a land, and then you find a Melira, in this case another sacrifice outlet, and then you just put that into place how it would be, because once your deck is set up, then you can sack him infinitely and say that's how I want it. So once you set it up like that, because you're able to go through your whole deck and scry it like shit, so once you are able to do that, that helps a lot. So, or that is how you do it, and legally in the game. So on turn 4, we're going to draw a card. It was a forest. We're going to tap 4 for the Murderous Redcap, and that's all she wrote. So if they somehow killed Melira during that, we could play our Visor Remedies, and then if we would have set up our next cards too. Instead of being a Melira, we would have scryed to be a Cartel Aristocrat or Yeheni as our sacrifice outlet. If I can find one in here. And I can't. Where is she? Alright, so that is it for these. I think I'm out of time, and we'll move on to the next phase. And so we're going to get the deck out and make some changes and go on to our next games.